Stop the madness. Keep it 100. The best talk show on the web is here on STMK Radio 100 with your hosts, Sean L., Let, and Tone the Stone. Come join us from 6 to 8 p.m. Mondays through Fridays. Stop the madness. Keep it 100 with live call-ins, heated discussions about current events, politics, national news, weather, and sports. Join our live online chat room and let your opinion show. Download our phone app. Stop the madness. Keep it 100 on STMK Radio 100. Come join us from 6 to 8 p.m. Mondays through Fridays. The best talk show on the web is here on STMK Radio 100. Call us at 1-866-484-7865. That's 1-866-484-STMK. Stop the madness. Keep it 100. At the Table with Reverend Bill Miller on STMK Radio 100. Check out Reverend Bill Miller's Bible Study radio broadcast live on the new STMK Radio 100 at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Please listen in and support him as he joins the realm of broadcasting to encourage believers and offer the comfort of God to others across the airwaves. At the Table with Reverend Bill Miller on STMK Radio 100. Also, feel free to contact him for prayer, counseling, and conversation at brobill9608@yahoo.com. That's BROBILL9608@yahoo.com. At the Table with Reverend Bill Miller on STMK Radio 100.
STMK Radio 100. You're listening to Stop the Madness, Keep It 100 with your host, Sean L., Let, and Tone the Stone on STMK Radio 100.
Yes, this is a PSA, a public street announcement. You are now listening to a Kickback production. Light up your L's, lean back, and listen.
Welcome and good evening to Studio 51. Thank you for coming in and seeing us on Stop the Madness, Keep It 100. I'm your host, Sean L. First, we'd like to send out our heartfelt condolences to Manchester, England, and let everybody know that we stand with England and we really sad about what took place there. And we're in a bad world and we need to situate it around where we can get everything. Yes, it was. And also, we'd like to send out all our wishes for our host, Let, for her to get well. And we dedicating this show to you, Let. Get yourself together and get back with us.
Get better, Let. Miss you, man. Love you.
Tonight, we're going to talk about all the fast-moving parts in the Russia investigation. And then then later on in the second hour, we're going to talk about the pros and cons of technology and the adverse effects that it's having on our kids. Also, we're going to talk about the Cleveland Cavaliers and much, much more. So please stay
So
with us
much
because we
more.
got a whole good
Go
night for you.
Cavs. Go Cavs.
In Studio 51 with me is my main man, as always, sitting in the funny chair, holding up the world, comedian Doug Million. What's
What
up,
up,
player,
y'all?
player?
What up? What up? What up? What up with you, Sean? Hey, I want to give a shout out right quick, if you don't mind.
Yeah, go ahead,
This
go
brother
ahead.
doing his thing, man. I want to give a shout out to Andre Caver. He's a gospel and smooth jazz. This guy plays the saxophone like nobody. He ain't like Kenny G or nobody. I mean, he doing his thing, and he's got a new jazz album release concert coming out. It's gonna be Sunday, June 4th this year at 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. And the venue is going to be the Cleveland Marriott East in Beechwood, and that's in the United States. Andre, do your thing. God bless, God speed, God will, brother. Do your thing, man. Do your thing.
Yeah, we want everybody to show that brother some love. Get that CD. You can download it. He's also have some on. He's on YouTube and Spotify. I think that's what it is. Show that brother some love and give it up. Also, the circus gave us free tickets last week. Remember, we got all those tickets.
Yeah.
And the greatest show on earth is no more. They did their
No more.
last
They're
show in New York, and they're done. And we like
They're
to
done.
send out the thanks for them for giving us the free tickets and everything that was going on. Doug, where we going to start at today? Because everything's just going so far. Every day there's something new in the Russia investigation.
Let's just start with Trump.
You got the health care bill.
Let's start. One of his boys, y'all may not know this. What's up, Facebook Live? I'm doing Facebook Live today for the first time.
Yeah,
on
we
the
got
tablet.
Facebook Live.
And,
As a matter of fact, we want to, all our social media is coming up. Welcome Facebook Live, YouTube Live, SoundCloud, and welcome to our cities of careness. But Doug is just now got his face up there on
I got my
Facebook Live.
We up Facebook Live. We doing the thing. So y'all check me out. Go to my page. Check me out. Go to the STMK 100 radio page. Check me out. Ebony, what's up, girl? What's happening to all my
Click
people
on that
out
link
there?
and come right on
And
in.
Come on in. But one of Trump's boys body slammed a reporter over questions about the Russian investigation.
Well, they think the press is against him anyway.
They body slammed.
But when you go at war with the press, this is like dictatorship now. Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
This-
Trust
this-
and believe.
this
This
is-
is not a presidency.
This is something that everybody better be aware of. And I want to talk about the health care bill, the special prosecutor, Trump's trying to stop the investigation. But we're going to get into that. But, the biggest thing is that I want to go back to the end of the road for the greatest show on earth. The Ringling Brothers Traveling Circus performed his last show Sunday with stopping in Long Island, New York. The circus has been a piece of American history. We're going to talk
I
about
grew up with that circus.
Right. We're going to talk about that later on in the show, what the technology is doing to our kids and how our kids are not going to have the same lifestyle that we have.
One of the things it's doing is ending things like the Ringling Brothers Barnum and Bailey circus. It's just not needed no more.
Right. So the second thing that's a shocker that everybody's been missing in the news because you didn't hear it. Clarence Thomas, for the first time, voted with liberal judges.
Welcome to the job, baby.
And he struck down, wait a minute, he struck down gerrymandering in the United States. So he struck down a case in North Carolina of their gerrymandering, and he agreed with him. And that is a shocker for everybody. So it goes to show you that at some point in time, somebody will do the right thing.
And for y'all there who forgot about who Clarence Thomas is, Clarence Thomas was the judge that was appointed by Bill Clinton, wasn't it?
No, he came
during
over
his
with Reagan. That was
No, he was.
no,
yeah,
right. No, he was appointed by Reagan.
He was appointed by Reagan, yeah, but he got the vote. That was the man that slapped a woman on behind and told her, "Welcome to the job." Baby.
No. That's the man that said that
Clarence Thomas.
that he put his pubic hair in his coke. He liked pubic hair in his
he
coke.
liked pubic hair in his coke. It wasn't his pubic hair.
Right.
It was somebody else's pubic hair. I hope it was a female's pubic hair.
So,
but I don't understand the whole pubic hair thing. Maybe to pick your teeth, but I don't see it. But he was the one that slapped a woman on the behind. Welcome to the job, baby.
So to jump right into this, and I don't want to stay on Trump too long because if Trump thought going overseas was going,
Ivana don't even want to stand.
did you see her
Trump
smack
too
his
long.
hand?
She don't even want to stay on
So
Trump too long.
if he thought going overseas was going to change things, no, it's not going to change things. It makes everything knows. When he gets back home, he's going to really be in it too, because now it comes out that the Russians put a fake memo out that caused the FBI to come out against Hillary.
Everything is done in the dark.
Comes to light.
That's it.
Then he fired the head of the FBI.
Got rid of him. You got to go. But if you notice, every time somebody goes against Trump, he never seems to be worried about it, because he do the same thing he did when he was on the apprenticeship. You're fired.
Right. But not only that, he's trying to run the United States as a thing. But see, this is the problem that I
He's
have with
trying
it.
to run it as a business.
Right. And this is the problem that I have. Whether you're a Republican, Democrat, this is very serious, because now we're talking about a foreign country. So if you waving your flag, we got the Russians that got involved in our election,
Right.
okay, and trying to destroy democracy. And
Right.
and the bottom line is Donald Trump is destroying stuff that the damage done may not be able to be undone. And I go back to this because remember we did the show.
Technology.
No, it ain't technology. Remember we did the show. When you fail to participate in democracy and vote, and you vote for third party, you get the government you get.
Right. You get exactly what you
Right.
asked for.
So I'm not mad at Donald Trump for pushing his policies and doing what he said he's going to do, because guess what? Bernie or bust people, we had that talk. I talked with you about it. I had you on the show. You are you want everybody to feel pain. You want everybody to hurt. Okay, everybody's feeling the pain. Everybody's hurting. But what I want to tell the people is in the community, especially the minority people in the community, you failed to go out and vote. Now you're getting Ben Carson say being poor is a part of being in your mind.
What?
Yes. So this is what you're getting now.
Being poor is a part of being out of your pocket.
Okay. So this is what's happening right now. Doug, I want everybody to understand this. This is what's happening right now. They're cutting housing vouchers. Housing vouchers means that the government's no longer going to supplement your rent.
Right.
I know no homeowner is going to let somebody stay in their house and he ain't getting paid.
Absolutely not.
So that means more homeless people. Okay, let's just get it correct. More home. Matter of fact, you're gonna have more people coming out your way living, okay,
No.
from the hood than there is now.
No. For those of you who do not know, I live out in the country. It shine like the color. I live out in the sticks. Yeah, but I'm out there. They ain't coming out there.
And
We
it's-
don't- you know, that's one problem that we do not have out there. We have very few homeless people, because people out there, they don't get homeless.
But
They go to Walmart, they buy a tent.
and they sleep right. But guess
Damn
what?
right.
Guess
They're
what?
not homeless.
There's gonna be some trespassers, baby. Believe me.
I know. Not on our property.
Now,
bro.
now, Trump fired. Let's go into this because I want to get into this before we get down. Trump fired the attorney general in New York who was investigating Russian mafia money coming into the United States.
Uh-huh.
Then he fired Sally Yates, who came to him and told him that Flynn was an agent for them.
That's right.
Okay. Then you have him firing Comey after Comey refused to break down the investigation.
After Comey became a snitch.
Now you got him asking the CIA director and the NSA director to come out
Mueller.
and come out and say, no, not Mueller. Mueller's the special prosecutor.
Yeah, the
but,
special
but
prosecutor.
to
my
come
bad.
out and tell everybody, no, this isn't happening. And when they refused to do it, he was going to fire him,
But he couldn't.
but Pence told him no. See, Mike Pence, everybody looking at this, the vice president is sitting back in the sidelines, and he wants nothing to do with this. Deniability is what he's saying. So when you look at all these people he has fired, and he didn't want a special prosecutor. What he did was he put a good man in a position to get himself blamed for Comey, and he dropped the blame in his lap, and he forced him because he's a Trump pick.
Right.
So when you look at this, people, I want you to say this is not Democrat, this is not Republican. A Republican pick as Attorney General said, hey, there's a problem here. We need a special prosecutor.
Right.
And remember, we had that show. We talked about that. We
Yes,
called
we
for
did.
that.
Yes, we did.
I agree with Trump. I'm going to tell you this right here. I agree with Trump. In December, I called for Trump when he came in office to fire Jim Comey.
Okay.
Okay, go back and look at
you
look
did,
at our show.
You did, you
I said
did.
he needed to be fired because he came and violated the most sacred rules of any institution in Washington, and he got himself involved in an election.
and a whole bunch of isms that he should not have gotten himself
Right. He shouldn't have got
involved in.
himself involved in.
He should have had nothing to do with that, and he should have stayed away from that.
Welcome, San Francisco. They have tied in with us. We're
What
right
up,
now. We're
cuz?
talking about Trump, and thank you for coming in with us. Also, what we want to go into is that after he fired Comey, he sent all of his staff out, gave them a lie to tell,
Mm-hmm.
had them on TV telling a lie. So they have no credibility on no show no more, because as they was in there telling this lie about why he fired Comey and what was going on, guess what? He come back tomorrow and say, no, that ain't why I did it.
That ain't why I did it.
I
That-
fired him because I wanted to fire him.
Right, right.
And I said this Russian thing don't mean nothing, so I'm firing him.
So I'm getting rid of him.
Okay, so
But this Russian thing means
A
a little
lot.
bit of everything.
Well-
it don't mean everything,
well,
but
let me-
it means a great deal of things. You talking about another country, a country that is supposedly our ally, that is not really our ally, that's causing all kind of problems and causing all kind of problems on purpose, trying to discredit the way we live
well,
and
let's
change.
let's get away from the election. Let's get away from everybody. Get away from the election. You know why I'm telling you to get away from the election?
Why?
Because we're talking about Benedict Arnold.
Yeah.
Okay, see, this is something that has not came back yet. This is the shoe that's going to drop. That's going to blow the Russian investigation way open. Okay, and everybody don't know this though. But all you military people, what I'm about to say, you know this. Mike Flynn
Uh-huh.
is a retired general in the military.
Correct.
The military code of justice have some things for people that was in the military that clearly says that he has to come back to the military before he does anything with foreign people.
Absolutely.
Okay, guess what? He violated that. So the military,
So where is he at now? Is he in jail?
no, he ain't in jail, but guess what? The military can come back,
Right.
bring him back into the military,
And then court martial.
and court-martial him. And guess what? No civilian court or civilian judge
touch it.
can touch it. Not even the president.
That's right, because he's not
And-
he belongs to the
The
United, States,
military. And I'm gonna call it what it is. This is treason. Nothing but treason. This ain't no conclusion, illusion, 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 whatever you want, simple name you want to. It's treason. And treason in the United States is punishable by death. And Congress can, only Congress, not the president, but only Congress can come and petition, and the military go back, can give you a 7-year labor of hard labor. And that's in the Constitution. For you folks that's in the Constitution, hard labor.
Check out your Constitution.
Okay, check out your
folks.
Constitution. See, I know about that too. Since everybody that's in internet land, yes, I am educated, and guess what? I'm dangerous. Okay,
Ooh.
you know. I want you to know, the people looking right now, we are educated, and here at Stop the Madness, Keep It 100, we call it as it is.
That's right. Comedian is what I do, but I'm also a human being, and I'm a part of society.
So right now, Doug, Flynn,
hmm
Jared,
right.
Session,
Session.
all of them could be lined up against the wall and shot.
Every last one of them.
Okay, and you have to.
Well, including Donald Trump.
Well, we don't know the president yet. We ain't gonna go that high because
I'm
under
gonna go there.
because under the Constitution they took care of Trump also. No sitting president can be charged with a crime.
What?
Okay.
Oh yeah, that's
He
right.
can only be impeached.
That's right.
Okay, he
That's
can
right.
only can't be charged.
Well,
now
That's
Pence,
how it's gonna go down.
now,
They're gonna
Pence
impeach
can-
his
wait a
ass and line him
Pence
up on
can
the
be
wall,
charged
too.
with wait a minute. Pence can be charged with a crime.
Yeah.
His cabinet can be charged with a crime, but no
But,
sitting
right,
president,
No sitting
no
president. can
sitting
be-
president can be charged with a crime.
Thank goodness, Obama. Thank goodness.
So when the special prosecutor, Obama better be happy because they really. Hey,
Oh man.
I call for a special prosecutor. See, when I call for a special prosecutor, we call for a special prosecutor because Trump was saying Obama wiretapped him and violated the law. So I said, give a special prosecutor and let's go with it. Now, the question is not what's going on. The question is what is Donald Trump and them in the White House trying to hide? That's the question. What are they trying to hide?
What are they trying to hide besides they weed?
And I'm gonna say this again to all you chest thumping Daddy Warbucks people and waving the flag. For the first time in the history of the White House, we had Russies in there laughing about Americans and what they done to America.
Right.
Okay, That if
'Cause
y'all
they
not
got-
out, if y'all not
They
outraged
got
for that,
one off. Y'all just don't understand. They got one off. They've been trying for years and years. They've been trying since before the Kennedy administration to get this off, and they finally found a way to get it off, and they got it off, and they are laughing in our faces because they got it off, and they got it off good because they know exactly what they was doing because they duped the president. They roped him in, they drug him in. Oh, it's okay, Mr. President. It's cool.
you have to look at this too. Michael Flynn is a dead duck. We
Oh.
know now Michael Flynn committed 7 felonies.
Dead in the water.
7 felonies. He at any time they want to go pick him up, they can pick Michael Flynn up right there on his 7
But the
felonies.
thing is now these people are in trouble, and yes, they can be picked up. Yes, they can be sent back to the military. Yes, they could be possibly charged for treason.
Only Flynn.
But
Only Flynn.
will they?
Only Flynn.
But will he?
Well, see, this is the thing I'm going to tell Bernie or Bus and everybody else. And this is the thing that Donald Trump has to worry about, and this is something that the Republicans have to worry about. 2018, next year, everybody that's sitting here, everything Donald Trump done to you was done by an executive order.
Trust and
Okay.
believe.
And when Barack Obama did the executive order, everybody said, hey, he was violating the Constitution, circumventing law, but it's okay for that.
All right, I got some folks over here that's asking, what's an executive order?
An executive order is when the executive, who is the president of the United States,
Okay, now y'all getting this.
write an order for his directors to follow. It's
Right.
not law.
It's not law.
It's directives.
It's a directive order. That means that the president is telling his people to follow his instructions to tell you to follow their instructions.
Right. That's like Obamacare. He can defund Obamacare, but he cannot undo
Do it,
Obamacare.
right.
He can
Because
get the money.
It's not a law. It is not official. It is just an order given by the big boss. And we all know shit runs downhill.
But you know, Doug, everybody's running around and asking and saying what year we in, where we was at. Remember we did that show?
Yeah, we did a show on that.
And I'm going to tell everybody right now. Okay, I did some research and I went back and looked at some things, and it's clear to me now we're not in 1965. We're not in 1968. We're not even in 1973 when the President Nixon was getting ready to get impeached. To understand why we having class warfare and people blaming other people for their failures, like the Mexicans and the Muslims and no jobs and the blacks, and we have a real problem with race relations and with the police departments, all you have to do is look back to 1676 where the whole thing started, okay?
Yep.
Class warfare between the 1% and the rest. The 1% is the people who got money, and if you ain't got no money, you
You
part
the
of the
rest.
rest, okay? Working for nothing, free labor, okay? And this was before slavery even started. So
Right.
we going into a period here before slavery even started, because guess who was the original slaves, so everybody can understand this? Original slaves were white, and it was called indentured servants. They
Right.
came over
Right.
to England, and they had to sign a 3 to 5 year contract that they will do free labor, take care of this person for paying them for their trip over
That
here.
is correct.
Okay,
So
and
they had a sponsor, and they had to work for their sponsor,
right,
in order to
and
pay off their debt.
blacks wasn't here, so it's not a color issue because blacks wasn't here. Everybody, this
was long before
this-
Kunta
wait,
and them.
when Trump and them say they want to go back to when America was great, this is where they talking about it, okay? And then this was the worst start of American history, okay? And out of this, slavery started. And I'm talking about the Bacon Rebellion and Revolution in Virginia. We're going to do a show on that next week, so you need to tune in. So we're going to talk about that. We have a historian coming in,
So buff up on that,
1776,
y'all.
the colony of Virginia, and that changed the history in America, because actually what happened was, and I'm just going to give you a little tip tap here, is that when the indentured servants was tired of being mistreated and working for
Right.
free, they started a rebellion. But what they did was they went and told everybody the reason we can't get nothing and the reason everybody's starving and everything is because of the American Indians. They giving everything
They-
to the
yeah,
Indians.
They
so
blamed it
what
off
they
on
did,
my people.
they got all the people together and all the villagers that was outside, and they attacked the Indians and started a war. Then they went back into Virginia and took over Virginia and the government.
Yes, they did.
Okay, and this is before England even sent troops over here, because you know the United States was ran by governors then.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
But we're going to talk about that, and we want you to look at the Bacon Rebellion, because we're going to talk about that a whole show next week. We're going to have a historian here. What's happening Facebook Live, Gerald, and everything. But what we really want to do is we want you all to sit back and relax, because we're going to recap Trump's week in the White House.
Wow. What up, Rita Hogan?
I rise today, Mr. Speaker, to call for the impeachment of the President of the United States of America for obstruction of justice.
120 of the Trump administration. And if the Russia investigation was ever just a distraction or a subplot, as of tonight, it defines and has consumed this presidency thus far, which, by the way, is a law.
I think it's over for Republicans. In fact, I think Republicans in the House and the Senate can breathe a sigh of relief because there's been the appointment of a special counsel, but it doesn't relieve them of their responsibility. And I think it's now going to be incumbent on the Republicans to get together with Democrats and to appoint an independent commission to really look broadly at this so that there can be some kind of public record for the meddling that took place in the 2016 election and for the ongoing activities of this very brief presidency.
It's a really simple question. Did evidence exist of collusion, coordination, conspiracy between the Trump campaign and Russian state actors at the time you learned of 2016 efforts?
I encountered and am aware of information and intelligence that revealed contacts and interactions between Russian officials and U.S. persons involved in the Trump campaign that I was concerned about because of known Russian efforts to suborn such individuals. And it raised questions in my mind, again, whether or not the Russians were able to gain the cooperation of those individuals. I don't know whether or not such collusion, that's your term, such collusion existed. I don't know. But I know that there was a sufficient basis of information and intelligence that required further investigation by the Bureau to determine whether or not U.S. persons were actively conspiring, colluding with Russian officials. Intelligence that was worthy of investigation by the Bureau to determine whether or not such cooperation or collusion was taking place. Russian intelligence activities over the years and have seen it, again, manifest in many different of our counterintelligence cases and how they have been able to get people, including inside of CIA, to become treasonous. And frequently individuals who go along that treasonous path do not even realize they're along that path until it gets to be a bit too late.
Mr. Brennan. 24 of the Trump administration, and the president is hiring a lawyer. It comes less than a week after the Department of Justice appointed a special counsel to oversee the FBI Russia investigation. Sources familiar with the decision tell NBC News President Trump is expected to retain Mark Kasowitz as private attorney on matters related to the Russia investigation. Kasowitz has represented Trump in the past, including, according to the Washington Post, some of Trump's divorce settlements and accusations of fraud against Trump University. We also heard today from former CIA Director John Brennan testifying before the House Intelligence Committee. Early on in the proceedings, the question of Russian collusion came up.
Having been involved in many counterintelligence cases in the past, I know what the Russians try to do. They try to suborn individuals, and they try to get individuals, including U.S. persons, to act on their behalf, either wittingly or unwittingly. And I was worried by a number of the contacts that the Russians had with U.S. persons. And so therefore, by the time I left office on January 20th, I had unresolved questions in my mind as to whether or not the Russians had been successful in getting U.S. persons involved in the campaign or not to work on their behalf, again, either in a witting or unwitting fashion.
Is it legally appropriate for President Trump to ask two top intelligence officer something like this?
Well, it's not unlike what Mr. Nixon did that got him in a lot of trouble when he asked the CIA through his chief of staff to go to the FBI and tell them to halt part of their investigation. Actually, Haldeman, his chief of staff, didn't carry out the full instructions, but they certainly were there on the tape. I think that what he's doing is, what Trump is doing is certainly more than a PR effort. If he could get these people to step out and give him some sort of wedge or opening against the FBI, I think he would have used it and pursued it, because he clearly doesn't want the FBI investigation to go forward. So it's part of a pattern showing his intent, and this may come back to haunt him, Don.
Do you think it's part of a pattern? I asked that too in the last segment.
That feel on it, and this is after watching Mr. Trump, and I think you and I would agree with this. He speaks very emotionally, he speaks very extemporaneously, he speaks kind of in the heat of the moment, and that's frankly what endeared him to a lot of people, but I think it sometimes gets him in trouble. And my reflection on those comments is that's probably his intention. I don't think he actually expected nor was asking that the investigation not go forward. I think he realizes the American people expect answers to these questions. I don't think it was appropriate if he did put pressure on them, but I don't think it rises to the level of obstruction. And, you know, the good news, Brian, is this. We've got Mr. Mueller. He's going forward with the investigation. I think it's going to take a little time, but most of us have a lot of faith in him. As
anybody out there who thinks this is the end of it, as John McCain keeps saying, this is a centipede and more shoes will continue to drop. This is a ball of yarn which continues to unravel. We have not heard the end of what went on with Michael Flynn. We have not heard the end of what happened with James Comey. He is going to have to testify probably in public. Lindsey Graham, Senator Lindsey Graham told me today he was going to invite him to testify in front of the Judiciary Committee in public, and he's going to have to answer the question that Jason brought up. Why didn't he do something at the moment that this happened? But he's also going to have to tell the truth about this. Look, I don't know if it's going to be a special prosecutor, a select committee, an independent commission. I don't know if it's going to be the intelligence committees that are doing it right now. But at the end of the day, it is very hard in a country like America, where there is a free press, where there are law enforcement officials who are loyal to the Constitution and to the country, to keep things hidden. Yeah. So this is going to come out one way or the other. And my advice to Republicans is let's get it out. Let's get it all out now for the good of the country, the good of the party, the good of the agenda, and even the good of this precedent.
That we no longer just have smoke. We have a raging 10-alarm fire at the White House. As a former prosecutor, what the president did in firing James Comey and then saying he did it to relieve pressure on himself because of the FBI investigation is a classic case of obstruction of justice, a federal crime. Anybody else who did something like this would be facing a federal indictment and a criminal trial.
Betting, I would say yes. Including some who are working in the new administration, or I guess I would say this, that my impression is I wouldn't be surprised after all of this is said and done that some people end up in jail.
AP Radio News. I'm Ed Donahue. President Trump's travel ban remains in limbo. Another court ruling keeps a block of the ban in place. Here's the AP Sagar Magani.
The Fourth Circuit Court of Appeals is upholding a lower court ruling blocking the ban that targets 6 Muslim-majority nations. The administration had rewritten the ban after the initial version suffered legal defeats. The Fourth Circuit is the first appeals court to rule on the revised version, and its decision makes it likely the administration will appeal to the Supreme Court. The ruling blocks the administration from suspending new visas for people from Iran, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, Syria, and Yemen. A federal judge in Hawaii also halted that provision. The president's fighting that one in the Ninth Circuit. Sagar Magani, Washington.
Press Secretary Sean Spicer says President Trump wants to get to the bottom of alleged leaks from the U.S. of information from the suicide bombing in Manchester, England.
He was outraged by this, that someone in a government agency would potentially leak classified information that would undermine an ongoing investigation and further potentially compromise national security.
A Libyan official says suspected bomber Salman Abedi called his mother before the attack and said, "Forgive me." At the NATO summit, President Trump told leaders more countries must step up financially to pay for defense. He points out 23 of the 28 nations do not pay their fair share. Polls are open in Montana for a special election for the state's only seat in Congress. It's getting more attention because the Republican running, Greg Gianforte, is charged with misdemeanor assault, accused of body slamming a reporter. Patrick Paradise is a supporter of the Democrat in the race, Rob Quist.
I don't think it probably changed very many minds or votes today, unfortunately. That politics are pretty entrenched right now.
Wall Street for a sixth straight day. The markets are up. The Dow Jones Industrial's up 79 points before the close. This is AP Radio News. The Atlantic hurricane season starts a week from today. Acting Administrator Ben Friedman at the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration says this could be a busy season. The prediction is between 11 and 17 named storms.
5 to 9 of those storms will become hurricanes, defined as having a sustained wind of at least 74 miles per hour. And 2 to 4 of those hurricanes will become major hurricanes.
Last year, there were 15 named storms, 7 hurricanes, and 4 major hurricanes. Video making the rounds on social media from the NATO summit in Brussels shows President Trump literally pushing his way in. It shows the president putting his right hand on the right arm of Montenegro's prime minister, pushing himself ahead as NATO leaders walked inside the new headquarters in Brussels. President Trump is then seen standing next to the prime minister. I'm Ed Donahue, AP Radio News.
We're here asking people from all over what they think of Lipton green tea. Let's hear what people from Texas have to say. How about China? Germany? How about people from the North Pole? Or Mars? What about mimes? Oh, right. People with their jaws wired shut? Yeah, a barbershop quartet. Oh, you guys are great. How about race car drivers? What about you, high school glee club, here on a field trip? Well, that settles it. It sounds like everyone loves the taste of Lipton green tea. With its protective antioxidants from real tea, it's not just good for you, it's to you.
Man, I dig inner monologues. Hello, hello, hello. Oh, look, a fillet of fish just sitting here in my mind being all delicious. Hey!
That's my sandwich.
What? How did you get in my inner monologue?
Door was open. Give it back.
Man, get your own invisible sandwich.
Any day is a great day for a Filet-O-Fish sandwich. And right now at McDonald's, you can get 2 Filet-O-Fish sandwiches for only $3.33. For limited time only, prices and participation may vary.
listening to Stop the Madness. Keep It 100 with your host, Sean L. Let and Tone the Stone on STMK Radio 100. 100. 100. 100.
Welcome back to Stop the Madness. Keep It 100. I'm your host, Sean L. Earlier, we was just talking about Trump and everything, and like I want to tell everybody, and everybody should understand, you get who you get if you don't go vote.
True.
Go vote, then you have a say-so in democracy.
Get up off your ass.
Whatever happened in that situation, it's in the Lord's hands. It's going to happen, and there's nothing we can do about it, so we ain't going to worry about that right now.
Right.
But I want to move on to our Cleveland Cavaliers, and I want to send out congratulations to the Cavs organizations for giving us the tickets, and we're going to the live Cavs game party tonight after the show. So come on down to the arena and sit with us and talk to us. And I'm going to be up there broadcasting a little bit. Come and see me and have some fun.
Yeah,
but what we want to talk about is right now, Mr. Dougie Doug.
Hey, before we get into that, this is my first time doing this live thing on Facebook, and I really, really appreciate all the love that I'm getting, all my people out there. To my big sister, Rita Hogan, love you, girl. To Tiff, I see you, I love you. Reggie, my man Sam Gaines, everybody that's tuning in, I really, really appreciate y'all finally getting able to get into the studio with us and check this out, man, and it's only going to get better from here. Now, let's get to this Cavs thing.
Yeah, let's get to this Cavs thing.
Let's get to it.
Hey, quit all your checkouts. Facebook Live, we thank you for coming with us, Facebook and YouTube.
Tell somebody to tell somebody.
The chat room is filled up, and guess what? We got people in Chicago, and they want to know, is Bron scared of the Warriors?
Hell no.
What's going on? They should be closing it. I mean, they should have closed it out.
They're gonna close
Tuesday
it out
night.
tonight. You know, it was a problem the other night. They took for granted the Boston Celtics. They kind of lightweight forgot who the Boston Celtics was. Let me break it down for you.
Chi-Town, wait a minute. Chi-Town.
Chi-Town can't say nothing. Hello.
Chi-Town in the house.
What? Chi-Town
in the house.
Since Michael Jordan went to bed, went retired, went bye-bye, y'all ain't got all them rings. And whatever, man.
Go ahead and finish.
Y'all can't say nothing, Chi-Town.
Go ahead and finish. Go ahead and finish telling us what's going on.
Here go the breakdown. The Cavs came out smoking and blazing, man. I mean, but first of all, hats off to my Cleveland Cavaliers because those boys are doing it big. They went 10-0. They went 10-0, neck for neck. Everybody wants them to be neck for neck with the Golden State Warriors. We are not the Golden State Warriors. We are the competition of the Golden State Warriors. We are the only competition to the Golden State Warriors.
No, you're the champs. You're the champs.
But and I'm talking about as far as competition. Now, see, we're going to get to that champ part in just a minute. But
okay.
as I finish breaking this thing down, we were geared up. When we took on Boston, first of all, I wanted us to get the Wizards because I felt like it was a better matchup. When we got to Boston and we went up in Boston and we did what we did, got them a couple historical games, the Cavaliers' defense was geared up for Isaiah Thomas. And it kind of threw them for a loop. Them boys are kind of a little bit tired.
So are we gonna close it tonight? Let's get just
bottom line.
The chat room just said that. Hit the bottom line.
I'm gonna put it out there. I'm gonna put it out there like this for you, chat room. We're gonna close it tonight. We have no choice but close it tonight because I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna go on air and say this. If we don't close it out tonight in Boston, we're in trouble.
Well, let me say this. Because next Thursday on our show live, the Cavaliers will be in, I'm going to say they're going to be in Oakland, California.
We'll be in Oakland, California playing the Golden State Warriors.
For the championship.
Flat out. I agree with you, Sean. We will. We're going to close it out tonight. We have no choice. The Cavaliers right now, what's going on with the Cavaliers is LeBron James is the greatest player in basketball today. He is the greatest athlete in the game of basketball.
With no respect.
Huh? With no respect.
They're not giving him no respect. You know that. Even the chat room saying that.
Quite possibly the greatest athlete in the world today with no respect. However, you got to understand, we do have Kyrie Irving. We do have Kevin Love. And these guys have got to step up. The other night, Tristan Thompson had a breakout game. And these are guys that's got to step up. But we got some other guys. We got to see our theory is this year, next man up. We waiting on the next man to step up because it cannot be all on LeBron James. Yes, he's the greatest player in the world. Yes, he's got it going on. Yes, he's got great core vision. Yes, he seems like Superman, but he's a human being too. Just like he's tired, Steph Curry tired. And as far as all that other stuff that y'all saying in the chat room.
In the chat room, they said, wait a minute, let me read it correctly here. It says the Warriors are in the Bahamas right now drinking coconuts.
That's all right. They can stay in the Bahamas drinking coconuts, but they got to bring their game. And they're going down again. And like just like last year, I'm getting a shirt. I'm getting a shirt. And it's on the front it's gonna say two words.
The Cavs already gave me my shirt hat,
and
so
it's gonna say
I'm ready to go.
Cavs, bitches, because we are the champions, and everybody has a tendency to forget that. And I'm gonna say this: until we have 2 or 3 pieces of hardware in this city, we'll never get the respect that we deserve. Because people have already seemed to have forgotten that the Cleveland Cavaliers, guess what? We are the champions.
But I'm gonna say this right here with the Cavs is that I think the Cavs are in a better position this year because
than they were last year.
And even the first year, they would have probably took it the first
we
year.
Healthier. We got a better bench.
And we got
got
Kyrie
a better
and Love.
backup. And we got Kyrie Irving and Kevin Love.
Right.
And if y'all were not paying attention to the game the other night, Kevin Love was playing with wreck and abandonment. And what I mean by that, Kevin Love, for the first time since he's been in Cleveland, was playing basketball. He wasn't looking to LeBron James or Kyrie Irving or J.R. Smith saying, is it my turn? Is it my turn? When he got the ball, he said, you damn right it's my turn. He took the ball to the rack. He played defense. Kev showed us some love. Pun intended.
We want you all, because we're going to be off the air by the time the Cavs don't come on to 8:30. And I want you to come down to the queue for the watch party. We're going to be out there, coming on there, party, have fun, drink, drive safe. And don't get a police no hard time.
Please
and
don't.
Everybody have fun.
Just
but
have a good time.
Tonight we want to get into our conversation that we was going to talk about right there. And we're going to go deep into this. And it's going to be the pros and cons of technology and the adverse respect on our kids. And what we're going to do is we're going to open up the phone lines. You can give us a call at 1-866-484- STMK, that's 1-866-484-7865. Again, we want you to give us a call. We're going to open up the file lines. That's 1-866-484-7865. Give us a call. Tell us what you think about technology and how it's affecting our
What's
kids
that number?
today.
One more time.
1-866-484-7865. Give us a call and tell us what you got to say. We want your opinion to show. Chat room, we know that you got everything going, and we're going to bring you in and out. But right now, Douglas Million is getting ready to tell us a little bit, and we're going to get deep into this, and we got a lot to say.
Man, this gets deep. This gets deep. We had started this conversation some times ago on another show.
About 2 shows ago when we did Generation Next. I think it was.
Generation Next. That show kind of went awry because of a lot of reasons, because there was another topic that came up. I believe it was in a chat room, or either Saxman was sitting in it with us at that time. And Saxman was sitting in with us, and things went a little bit left. And we were talking about the statistics of. And what I want to talk about is the adverse effects that technology is having on our children, because it's a lot deeper than people would like to think. And I went onto the web, I went to the Huff web, and I did a lot of research on this, and it's a lot deeper than we would ever begin to know, because a lot of people in the hood, a lot of people in certain communities, and I'm not talking about just black people, are noticing this, but they're saying, oh, that's so cute that the baby got the phone and the baby do this, and my grandson know how to do this, and my grandbaby know how to do that. Well, it's been proven that because of technology, and it's directly because of, Sean, what we've done with technology.
Right. It's not technology. It's the way man using
it's the
technology.
way that man is
Dumber
using
down.
technology, and exactly, and because I mean, a lot of people I've talked to younger generations, and I wanna start with the babies. The babies are starting very, very early. They're coming straight out of the womb, and they're going to technology. They're learning how to use this technology. They're geared up on this technology, and the effects that it's having on them is having very adverse effects on them as far as social effects.
Well, you look at social skills, and then when you talk about social skills, but also it's having some health effects on them too.
Oh, it's having plenty of health effects on them. If it's having psychological effects on them. As far as social, it's absolutely killing the social skill, because I mean, you can sit now with a tablet, a phone, a television, and if y'all don't know, they got a brand new television.
Well, it's no
that's
more
coming out.
It's no more personal contact.
That's the whole thing.
I don't
that
call
I'm getting
nobody
at.
no more. I text you now, or I see you on Facebook,
Absolutely.
stuff like that.
And that's the
Right.
whole thing that I'm getting out. People are getting further and further and further away from human contact.
But
and it's causing very adverse effects, because you can now you can have a conversation with your child in the same room back to back, or sitting right next to your child without ever even speaking a word.
And Facebook, remember when they said the remote control had an effect on you? I mean, not the remote control, the remote had an effect on you because you wouldn't get up to
Well,
change
that was
the
that
TV
was
no
that was
more.
a whole
You
that
know?
was a whole different program, because back then it did have a very adverse effect, but it was my mama being a lazy ass, and my mama taking advantage of me, because in my house I was the remote control before it came up.
Well,
And see,
see-
that's what I'm saying. And
Right.
since remote control has come out, we've gone so much further than that, because we've gone into voice technology, and it's get at an early age. Like I said, before a child is able to walk, before a child is able
Right.
to talk, they are being introduced to technology. I
Right.
mean, they're being introduced to artificial intelligence, and it's completely taking over our
Facebook,
children.
Facebook land, YouTube. We open the phone lines up. If you want to give us a call, 1-866-484-7865. 1-866-484-7865. Let your opinion show. Chat room. I see what you coming across on. Social skills are being improved by technology.
Social skills are being somewhat improved, but it's also killing them in the social field too, because a lot of people saying, yeah, but the kids are getting smarter because they have this technology. In some senses they are getting smarter because of this technology, but it's the technology field that they're getting smarter in, but they're falling off in reading skills, they're falling
Right.
off in academic skills, they're falling off in mathematical skills, because now there's a lot of children, and I
Correct.
personally experienced this. I was
Right.
in a known fast food restaurant, and this was less than a year ago, and the young lady almost had a panic attack. And this goes to my point. This young lady almost had a panic attack and lost her mind. They had to sit her down and calm her down, and I had to repeatedly tell her it
Don't
was
say
okay.
don't say the register went off.
She was working on the register, and the computer system went down.
Oh,
And
no.
the girl could not figure out that she owed me 4 cents, and she lost it.
Well, I talked to some educators, and that's what I wanted to say when we went to the show. We talked to educators, and their concern was that the kids, as you said before, was not reading anymore.
Right.
They don't know what a botanica is, okay? And that
A
without
Botanica, encyclopedia,
right, without
a
Google,
dictionary.
Jay told me right now, and it's something I didn't know because I've been out of school for so long, that they're not even typing papers no more.
No.
And that's unheard of
No,
for the
because
skills to
that's
research.
the whole thing about it. Because I mean, you're losing your writing skills. Because when I came up, and when you came up in school, we learned the basics, and we learned how to read, write, and arithmetics. But we sat down and we practiced penmanship. Children don't have penmanship anymore because they don't have to, because they have keyboards. Everything has a keyboard on it now, and they don't have to write anymore. They don't have to take notes anymore. They can sit in a classroom with a device their phone, i.e., and they can do absolutely everything. And they can take notes from the teacher without ever having to
Right,
write.
because they have online colleges now, so
Right.
you don't even have to.
And
You can Google all your stuff. You don't
Yeah,
even
you
have to
can
read the
Google
books no more.
everything.
Remember, you had them big,
Yeah.
big.
Yeah.
I know I'm old in school, but we had these big books. We had to go from chapter 1 to chapter 24. You had to read.
When I came up, Sean, as a young adult, I have biological children and I have fathered many children. That don't mean I got 2 biological children and I have 1 baby mama. But I have fathered.
What's a baby mama?
Huh?
What's a baby mama?
My ex-wife.
Oh, you got an ex-wife.
I have my baby mama.
Ex-wife.
My baby mama.
ladies,
That's a whole nother show.
That's
at
a whole
another
nother
time.
show, but we're gonna say ex-wife. I'm not
Okay.
gonna let him classify
what?
none of you women as baby mamas. Okay, don't worry
Well,
about that.
Okay, you know what? And ladies, no disrespect to any of you out there, and I do stand corrected. My ex-wife, I have 2 biological children, and
And
I
an ex-wife.
have an ex-wife.
There you go.
And
That's
my
what I wanna hear.
biological
There you
children
go.
are by her ex-wife, and I have literally through my years, my young adult years, through women that I have dated and been with and had relationships, I have fathered many children, and all of my children that call me dad, all of my children that respect me as a father or a strong male figure will tell you they would come to me and they would say certain things, and when they would go out of context with a word, I'd be like, you don't even know what that means, and they'd be like, what it mean? Go get a dictionary. And they would literally have to go get a dictionary. My children will tell you, man, don't go out of context with this dude, because he'll tell you to get a dictionary. And they hated
But-
going to the dictionary, but they don't have to do that no more, because you know what? They can, right there while you saying it, they can say, Google, what does expeditious mean? And it'll bring it right up
But
to 'em.
isn't that on parenting? I mean,
Yeah,
let's
you know
go.
what?
Let's why are we going to blame it on
And
technology
I'm not,
when
I'm
you got
not-
parenting
listen,
and
listen, I'm not blaming any of these things
No,
on technology,
I
but
understand
I'm
that.
saying it all begins and ends at home. It all begins and ends at home, because I
correct.
mean it all does fall on the parenting. Because at one point in time, when technology first started to evolve, you were limited to the amount of time you could play a video game. And see, that's where we fall off at, because parents need to start limiting the time and amount of time that their children spend with technology,
Right.
i.e.
Well,
tablets, i.e.
well,
computers,
video
i.e.
games are
cell
bad.
phones.
Video games are bad for kids because they can cause seizures. We talked to some doctors. Seizures.
Right.
Eye problems from the bright lights, and if you got a baby, the cell phones is like a microwave. It gives off.
It's like a microwave.
Right.
It does give. In fact, it's not like a microwave. It is a microwave, because it does give off. It gives off microwaves, and it gives off gamma rays as well. Because I mean, you're talking about electronic system. That you're talking about technology, and when people say technology, they like to throw that word technology around, but they fail to realize you're talking about electronic devices. Some of them become hazards in your home,
Right.
because in this past year we've had several where it was in fact one very popular brand. I'm not going to
To
give
catch
them
fire,
no-
right, the
I-
Samsung, right.
it would catch fire, and there's a couple of them that blew up.
Well, the
And
chat room says what the bigger problem is that the kids don't go out and play no more.
The kids
They
don't go out and play no more.
And
not
Michelle
only
Obama
that-
said that with what was that? They was doing a play 60 or 60
right,
play or
60
whatever that
minutes
was.
play.
Right.
And not only that, I work with some younger people. And one of the things that
Uh-huh.
I do, I'm like the Jamaicans, man. I got 15 million jobs. You know this. I got 15 million jobs, plus I got 20 hustle. But what I'm saying is I work with young people, and the other day a young man came to the job. He was late. He was late coming in, and he was explaining to me why he was late. He had a problem where one of the lugs on his car broke and the tire was wobbling, and he had to pull over to a get-go, and then he had to wait for his mom to come and help him to get the tire off. And in the conversation that I had with this young man, who is 19 years of age, explained to me, he said, well, I said, listen, I said, you don't know the basics? I said, you have a car and you drive and you don't know the basics? He said, yeah, I do know the basics. I know how to pay my car note. I know how to pay my insurance. I know how to start the car up and put gas in it and put air in the tire. I said, but I said, you don't know. I said, listen, it's very important for you start to understand. I said, the problem with y'all, he said, I'm going to tell you what the problem with us is. The problem with us is technology. He said, I've never had to do the things. I've never had to worry about those type of
Well,
things
see,
before.
on that issue right there, see, I'm gonna have to go on another side on that issue right there. Which I understand what you're saying
It's
right
the
there.
parenting.
But no, I ain't even gonna go.
And technology.
I'm not even gonna go parenting on that one. Okay, it's the lack of having a male figure in his life
That's
to
where you're
show
wrong.
him
That's where
how,
you're wrong.
how to
That's
do
where
things.
you're wrong.
Mama can't do it all.
That's where you're wrong, because this child still lives at home with mama and daddy. Now, his father is in his life, but his father is a hardworking man and was working hard to
Okay.
support everybody and just never took the time. He's taught his son many things. This young man is very respectful of women. He's very respectful of his elders. He's trying to be a responsible young man, and he's embarking on going into college. Now,
Okay.
so in respect, his father has taught him that, but his father never stopped to think to teach him the basics of auto mechanics like we learned.
Well, that's
how to
part,
change
that's
a
part of
tire.
being a man.
That is a part of
you
being a
can't,
man.
and
but
you can't work. See, I understand about technology, and everybody in the chat room, I'm looking at it. When you have a man in your life, okay, he can't work all the time. He has to take time with this
again,
male.
that's a whole nother show.
Right, and bring it back, because technology. He could Google how to change a tire.
Right. You can Google how to
Right.
change a tire, but Googling how to change a tire and being in a situation where you have to change a tire is two different worlds.
Why?
That's two completely different
Do you
worlds.
know what happens? Let me tell you what happened with my grandson. And I'm gonna bring Facebook into this because it's saying in the chat room. If my grandson and them want to know something, and we talking about something, and I'm talking to them, they Google what we talking about.
Right,
okay?
you right there talking
And
about.
right, we talking about it. If something with the car, change a bulb, or I need to change the oil on the lawnmower or whatever, they Google and say, okay, turn the lawnmower over and tip it up and go. I mean,
And boom, boom, yeah.
technology
Yeah.
is there for them. Now the drawbacks of technology that I see is their social skills.
Right. That's one of many drawbacks. But what I'm saying is a hands-on experience as opposed to Googling something and watching an instructional video
agree with
on
that.
how to do it. Because myself, even while technology was out, I taught my children how to change a tire.
Well, you're a good
talked
man.
to them. I talked to them how to change a tire, and I've taught them not to depend on technology.
But you're a good man.
Yeah,
And you know who
that's
made
true.
you. You know who made you a
And
good man,
again,
right?
Yeah, huh?
You know who made you a good man while you learned all that, right?
God.
Well, your mama did too. When you
Uh-huh.
got smart, she put that belt on your head, told you, boy, go out there. You know, you from that old school too now, okay?
Yeah, because see, that's the whole thing about it. Because
A
a lot of
strong woman
people
got a hold of you.
Bruh, we
okay?
don't even want to get there. We don't get there because what these kids call abuse today was a mild ass whooping back in my day.
But technology tell them is abuse, right?
Technology tells them abuse, and society tells them abuse. But technology has taken it to a whole nother
Look what they're gonna miss though.
This is what they're gonna miss.
Albums.
Huh?
How many people got albums? You remember the old vinyl? They don't get that
Album.
no more.
Man, you know what?
Cassettes. They won't even know how to fix a cassette.
You know what? They won't know. Not only will they miss albums, they won't know the joys of having a phonograph.
Is CD still out? You know I'm old. 'Cause
CDs are pretty much obsolete
but it's
now.
MP3s, right?
MP3s and everything is streaming now, and now they got this whole new technology. It's with the phone where you can just the Bluetooth, man. Bluetooth is a bad bugger. You can
Right. You can tie everything in.
Bluetooth is like a ghost in the machine. It can jump from item to item to item to item, and it's like everything is becoming obsolete. But I'm glad that you spoke about the fact that that they won't know the joys of being able to fix a cassette. I remember having a reel to reel, and I mean, even though as a young man,
Oh, you had some
it
money
was-
back then.
huh? I had a couple dollars.
That was the rich man, reel to reel. Anybody know what? Wait a minute. I'm asking the chat room. Do anybody in the chat room know what a reel to reel is?
Well, see, I got mine from the school because I was involved in the school with the AV, and when we got new equipment, when new technology came out,
Right.
I was in so deep that one of the teacher that was head of the AV said, "We're gonna get rid of this, so we got 3 of them if you want one." So I was lucky in that respect, but it wasn't like I had no money to afford one. But the point that I'm making is, I was I had to, there was times when it didn't work right and certain buttons would get stuck and I had to literally physically take
Go
it
in there and
apart.
fix it, right.
And you won't know the joys of that. And that also helps you in another structure because it also gives you mechanical inclination. You understand what I'm
Right,
saying?
right.
It helps you to be able to not only that, it helps you to be able to solve a problem without depending on technology because we've become so dependent
But
upon technology.
somebody in the chat room just said if the electricity go out and the heat go down, people gonna starve and freeze, and then that's correct because they don't know how to go out and hunt.
And see, that's
Some
that's
of them don't
another
know how to
thing.
go out and cut wood.
And that's another. Thank you, chat room, because
Yeah.
that's another point that I wanted to make. Because I remember as I was coming up as a young man, there was something that we used to do. My mother and my stepfather would get together with the next door neighbor, and we would go out to where I live at now, and we would go to the slaughterhouse, and we would buy a cow and 2 pigs. We would buy a cow and 2 pigs, and our family and the family next door, they would literally split the cow in half. We would go out there, we would pick the cow, we would watch the cow get slaughtered, we would watch the cow get cut up, and my mother would stand there and tell them, I want this many steaks, I want this much hamburger, I
Right.
want this, and I want my soup bones, and I want this, and I want that. And it was a different time, and we're no longer experiencing that. We've gotten so far away from that. That is a show within itself when you talk about food and technology, because like you say, when a lot of people want to think that when it comes down to pipe, that it's going to be some kind of great race riot, or it's going to be some kind of situation where is technology and this and that. It's going to come down to technology, but what it's going to come down to is the have and the have-nots. And what I mean by that,
Right,
those,
we're gonna talk about that next show. Haves and have
yeah,
nots.
because
the
the
1%.
have, the ones that got it is going to be the ones on the losing
But,
end, because the ones of us who don't have it are going to know how to get it and know how to
Right,
do it, and we
right.
come in to get what you got.
Well, but the thing the chat room talking about too, if the electrical grid go down, we're so dependent on technology now, and that's for everything. I don't even think any houses still have fireplaces in them now. They have the gas ones and the
Well, no,
electric heat
they've
ones.
gotten away from now in the and I used to be in that field. They have what's called 90 plus, which is 90 plus means it's 90% efficient, which means your house is more buttoned down. Your house is not as aerated as it used to be. It's more sealed up so that this furnace can properly function, and it's piped out. It's no longer flued out. It's piped out.
Right, that's why the
so
house
that
is
the flue
blowing up.
gases, so
Right.
that the flue gases can go out and that the good air can come in. But it's so buttoned up now. Nobody has fireplaces anymore. Nobody has that type of technology, because it's still technology. And out there where I live at, because I do live in the sticks, folks, and I ain't telling y'all where I live because I don't want y'all coming out there.
He live out in May. I'm gonna tell you, he live in Mayberry.
Mayberry USD, baby.
But
listen, out there where I live at, let me tell you.
Give me 1 minute for a minute.
Go right ahead.
Facebook Live, thank you for
What up,
joining us.
Facebook?
We're right now live on air, internet radio, broadcasting live 17 cities, and we talking about technology and the adverse effects of technology on your kids and what's having an effect on us. If you want to give us a call us at 1-866-484-7865. And then, not to cut you off, Doug, but chat room got a question for you, and I want you to
Go
answer
right
it
ahead.
on the back side of this, because we got to bring them in, is what is some of the adverse effect of technology going with social media and stuff like that on our kids?
With social media, what they're saying is, and what the doctors and the psychologists and the psychiatrists are saying is it's taking our children further away from socializing, real socializing.
So social
And-
skills.
And what social skills, period. Because I mean, children today, they have to Google to know how to do an interview, not just to dress for it. Whereas before, they have less friends. Bullying is more relevant,
Right, right on social
in today's
media.
society,
Social
because
media
of
is
social
right,
media,
right. Bullying
and
is on
because
there.
of less socialization. Let's talk about socialization. We got a phone call coming in, so we're gonna take that phone call. But we have less chat room. This is to you. We have less human socialization and more social media socialization, where you can now talk to your friends whether they live in the same city, the same block, or another country, right through your technology. You can talk to them on your phone, you can talk to them on your computer, you can talk to them on your tablet, you can IE them in any kind of way, you can Bluetooth them, and it's taking away from the social skills where we had, where when we were children, when I was a child and I was coming up, it was important that you were able in school to be able to socialize with your peer group, to be able to go out and play. You
Well,
did things.
right here, we got a call from Euclid, Ohio. Go ahead, caller.
What's up, Euclid?
Hello.
Hi, I was saying that it is adverse with technology because a lot of the parents now use technology as a babysitter. You know, don't bother me.
That's
Watch
correct.
a movie. Don't bother me. Play the game.
Absolutely.
You know, so technology is not a plus in some cases. You know, they
Absolutely.
still need to have family time and structure with them.
Absolutely, because when I was growing up, and I thank you very much for that, Euclid, because this ties right into what the chat room is saying. And as I was growing up as a child, now I was a latchkey kid because my mother and my older sisters, they worked. So when I came home from school, in order to keep me out of trouble, my mother would tell me to watch television. But I was only allowed to watch for a little while, because then when somebody came home, or after it was a certain time and all my chores was done and my homework was done, that little bit of television time went away. My mother told me, my mother didn't say I could, my mother told me to go outside and play, go over my friend's house, go visit my cousins, go see your auntie, go see your granddad or whoever.
But caller, let me ask you this: what technology is it that kids are not learning the skills to cope with technology, or they're not being taught those skills?
Can you repeat that one more time? I'm sorry.
Oh, what I was saying is, with technology, is it that the kids are not learning to cope with it, or they don't have the skills to cope with it? Like bullying, you know, a lot of kids get bullied online, or they go online to commit suicide, or to stress their problems, and they're using it as a coping mechanism.
Well, again, the parents are not monitoring. I feel like if the parents would monitor more when the kids are on technology, it would prevent the bullying. You know, how could there be all the bullying if the parents are watching what the kids doing? Then they'll know the conversation
I just
beforehand
caught
to
this voice.
prevent the bullying.
Right, and you know, we talked about that on show before last, parenting and social media, and how the village need to raise the kids.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Matter of
And
fact, I just told Doug about black males getting into families
getting
and
into
stuff.
the family, and I'm gonna put our caller on blast. I'm not gonna call their name out, but what's up, girl? I caught that voice, and I thank you for calling in. And as a matter of fact, she know exactly what we're talking about,
Right.
because we were raised together. And in fact, at a certain point in time, during our teenage years, my mother would keep us separated because we were male and female, but she made us socialize and take care of one another. And right now today, that's my sister, and I love her. Thank you, girl. Love you, girl.
Thank you, caller from Euclid, throwing us some love. Stay with us. You know, go to STMK Radio 100, or you can go to Stop the Madness Best Talk Show on the web, and
Best talk show on
click
the web,
link
baby.
and come right on into the studio, and Facebook and YouTube. We thank you for coming in and calling us.
Thanks for calling in, Euclid.
Okay.
All right, thank you. That was a caller from Euclid, Ohio. And as I was saying something to everybody, as she said before, and we went back on that, and I didn't mean to cut you off,
No,
Doug,
you good.
about parenting. It comes back to when technology start coming, especially like Facebook.
Right.
Facebook is easy for a person to sit on Facebook and try to cyberbully somebody.
Right, and they have a show. They have a show now, and a lot of you know, a lot of you techies know, and this younger generation know. They have a show out called Catfish, and Catfish came about because of people not only being able to bully. See, that's one aspect of social media,
Right.
but the other aspect of social media is being able to wear a different face. You can be a voice, you can be out there, you can be whoever you want to be, you can be as big as you want to be, and you can be as rich as you want to be, and let somebody absolutely know who you are. They don't know.
But
and that's what the technology is doing, because out there, man, I mean, out there, and some of these people that are on this show are people that just are simply lonely, because they don't know how to socialize. They don't know how to approach somebody.
But now technology is also, you have to look at this. We're doing all our banking online.
Everything is done online.
All the shopping stores that we know
Everything
are closing is done online.
Everything is done online. You receive your pay online.
Right.
You can manage your house online. As a matter of fact, let's go there. Technology has gotten to a point, it's evolved to a point where you can absolutely take care of your entire home. Your security system, you can turn off and on lights.
We're going to give a plug to one people. The Ring doorbell is very, very good. You could be in California and you know who's at your house.
That's right. I mean, it's very good in some aspects, but in other aspects, it's demoralizing us once again.
So the chat room want to come back to what the young lady from Euclid, Ohio said. So I'm going to get that back in there for a minute. What I want you to stress that right there is
Go ahead.
It comes back to, they said that the parents are missing and not being with the kids when they're on Facebook, or they on there and they're not supervising, and the kids, that's how kids get in trouble.
That's how a lot of children are getting themselves in trouble
and come up missing.
A lot of children that are lonely, that are reaching out to people on social media and being shunned, are again committing suicide live because they feel unwanted or unneeded or unloved. And it's so many different aspects to this technology thing, and the pros and the cons of it just goes on and on and on and on. But again, it all goes back to the parenting thing. It all goes back to the village thing.
And you have to look at this too. People in the chat room talking about how kids are being left behind for technology.
Yeah.
Also, because if you go to inner city schools, they don't have Apple
the same
computers
technology,
and the same technology
that they have
the other schools have
in the schools
so
where
they being left on that. And that's a good point. In the chat room right now,
That's an excellent
we got 4 chat rooms tied in together. We got YouTube Live, we got
What up,
Facebook
YouTube,
Live,
Facebook?
We got Doug for the first time using live on Facebook. So we got social media covered in the studio.
And
51.
I'm gonna tell y'all now, y'all can know that I'm no techie, and I'm enjoying this. I'm really enjoying this. I'm giddy about it, about being live for the first time on this thing, because I just got this tablet and I'm working it live. But I'm having a hard time with it, and I'm really having a hard time. There was a young man in the library. He was multitasking. This kid had a tablet, a phone. He was on one of the library's computer and had a laptop, and had them all going at the same time.
They do
and
that.
Was downloading music and
Our
MP3.
IT guy, let me tell you something. You want to know what's going on in the world at any time of
Get
the
with
day?
them IT boys.
We got an IT guy named James. You can go to STMK Radio 100 Facebook page, and you'll know everything right when it's jumping. Also, you can go to Stop the Madness, Keep It 100. Best talk show on the web page. I mean, he's carrying 4 or 5 different pages, and he's really throwing it down. We appreciate everybody come on, but Doug, hold that thought right there, because right now we're going to have to go for a commercial break, and we'll be right back.
great business needs a stunning website. And with Wix.com, you can do it all by yourself. Wix.com makes it easy to look amazing online, no matter what type of business you're in. Show off your images in a beautiful gallery. Grow your contact list and get all your social media in one place, just the way you want. Your customers are going to love it. So, what are you waiting for? Show the world what you can do.
Stop the madness. Keep it 100. The best talk show on the web is here on STMK Radio 100 with your hosts, Sean L., Let, and Tone the Stone. Come join us from 6 to 8 p.m. Mondays through Fridays. Stop the madness. Keep it 100 with live call-ins, heated discussions about current events, politics, national news, weather, and sports. Join our live online chat room and let your opinion show. Download our phone app. Stop the madness. Keep it 100 on STMK Radio 100. Come join us from 6 to 8 p.m. Mondays through Fridays. The best talk show on the web is here on STMK Radio 100. Call us at 1-866-484-7865. That's 1-866-484-STMK. Stop the madness.
Geico presents sharing versus oversharing. Earlier this week, Claire Tippins shared a princess nickname generator, 3 pictures of her dog wearing a tutu, and 2 online quizzes, including what candy is your dream castle made of? Claire, your sharing has tipped the sugar scale and turned into oversharing. But have no fear, princess. Geico has something worth sharing with your internet kingdom, like how you could save hundreds on your car insurance just by visiting geico.com. No magic wand required. Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15%.
At the Table with Reverend Bill Miller on STMK Radio 100. Check out Reverend Bill Miller's Bible study radio broadcast live on the new STMK Radio 100 at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Please listen in and support him as he joins the realm of broadcasting to encourage believers and offer the comfort of God to others across the airwaves. At the Table with Reverend Bill Miller on STMK Radio 100. Also, feel free to contact him for prayer, counseling, and conversation at brobill9608@yahoo.com. That's BROBILL 9608@yahoo.com. At the Table with Reverend Bill Miller on STMK Radio 100.
STMK Radio 100. You've been tuned in to Stop the Madness, keeping it 100 on STMK Radio 100. And now back to your host one more time, Sean L., Let, and Tone the Stone.
Hey, welcome back with us right now from our break. We'd like to welcome San Diego, who's just tied in with us at the bottom of the hour.
What up, San Diego?
Everybody in the chat room, we'd like to thank you for being there. Facebook Live, YouTube Live. We have social media covered all the way across. We're broadcasting live in 17 cities on internet radio. So if you have the internet radio app or you have the internet radio account, you can go to channel 122 and watch and listen to us. If you want to see us live on streaming TV, you can watch us live on our jump page of Ustream, our TV channel that we are broadcasting, streaming right now to the computers. And you can go to STMK Radio 100 Facebook page, click on that link and come right into Studio 51 and you can watch us live instead of watching us on your phone or your Facebook app. You can come right into the thing. We was talking about technology and the adverse effects that it's having on our kids. And Doug, the chat room went into some very good things that we want you to come back to. One, they talked about we have robots on Mars and we can build on Mars. And our kids are going to be so far advanced on us.
As far as technology, our children are 150% advanced on us. In fact, a lot of people, a lot of you moviegoers and watchers out there that watch these science fiction movies, if you've heard of IE, which is the next technology, which is a big part of technology, which is artificial intelligence, EI, is huge.
Wait a minute, I seen that. Don't tell me we're gonna be like iRobot.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
you know that's what it was.
Yeah,
Because
and in fact, there's another movie out there. I can't think of the name of it right now that goes more in
well,
depth
I'm gonna
into
go
that.
back. I'm gonna go back to something that I'm going to tell my age right now because everybody know that I was born in the 50s. But listen to this. Do you remember? And I'm gonna go to the chat room. Do you remember
Terminator.
when we was kids? Our technology and everything that we was looking at was called the Jetsons.
The Jetsons. The
Okay.
Jetsons.
Right, you know the car flew.
Yeah,
Okay,
the
George.
car flew, George
okay,
Jetson.
flying cars, and that's going to be a reality.
And if you think about it, that's where we are now. That's where we are now. Except for we haven't gotten to the point of living on the moon yet. They're working on that technology, on living in outside of our atmosphere where we will have
Well, we're
vehicles
gonna
that
need
fly.
hey,
But we are living in a Jetsons type world right now because I mean look at the smart cars that are coming out.
well, I'm gonna say this right here, and I'm not trying to get no politics in it, but with the EPA being cut off,
yeah.
with all the rules being cut down, the Earth is gonna be we gonna need some place to go.
Yeah, we absolutely are going to
Cutting
need
the
someplace
trees
to
all
go.
down,
And, I mean,
flooding the rivers.
Trust and believe. They've been working on that technology for years. They've been working on moving from this atmosphere to another atmosphere.
Welcome Facebook
for
Live,
years.
Vanessa. ATL's in the house. I like to do the shout out to our chat
Hey,
rooms and everything to
ATL.
bring everybody back. I don't mean to cut Doug off,
No, it's
but
good.
Doug First Noun is doing face. We got him tied in the Facebook Live, so we got everybody tied in.
To
and
my people
we're
in
talking
ATL,
to
what up?
a lot of people.
What up, Gwinnett? What up, College Park?
Hey, and we want to send off a thing to T.Y. Martin. He's doing his thing. We ain't forgot
TY,
him.
what up, player?
But when
I'm
you
live on Facebook, too.
right when you go back to technology with
From
kids,
up my stairs.
it has pros and cons.
Yeah,
right?
it's got a ton of pros and cons, and I mean, we've been talking about a lot of the cons. Some of the pros is what the chat room is getting to. Advance as our children will be on us. The advancements that they have. I mean, being able to manage your finances at the touch of a button. Being able, and my son is one of these, and because I'm
Apple Pay.
Apple Pay. I mean, the technology, and one of the places that I deal with, they deal with Apple Pay and they deal with technology pay. And in fact, one young man came into the establishment and he said, okay, he went to purchase something and he said, oh man, I'm 4 cents short. This guy went in his pocket and he had a bunch of change in his pocket, but you know what he did? He took his phone out and he said, how about we do this? How about I just reload? He took his wallet out, took his phone out, and he took his credit card and reloaded his phone so that he didn't have to deal with the money in his pocket or his credit card. He said, now I can put all this other stuff back in my car and I can just use my phone.
But
because
you
I
know what
asked
happened.
him,
But you know what happened with that, right? I mean, you know what can happen with that, right?
yeah,
When
lots of bad things
when
can happen
the
because
fact-
because somebody can hack into his system
Right,
and
the-
take everything he got.
Well, just like they did with our election.
Right.
When the fat man sitting in the room. But remember when they used to hack into
Picking pocket has gone to a whole new level.
No, right. Well, we know that, right?
A whole new level.
Law enforcement officers, you know that pick and pocket has gone to a whole new level.
I have a friend who was a doctor, who is a doctor, and she, in fact, big shout out to her, Dr. Murphy. She's a wonderful doctor. She's a pediatric oncologist, and at one point in time, her account was hacked. And she was a victim of identity theft, and that was several years ago.
That's the big thing with technology.
She was several years ago, and she's still dealing with taking care of that now. And it's like, if you don't know this technology, you better get in on this technology
because what we
that could be a way for us to since we talking about the adverse
right, because I'm just getting ready to say that
that's a way that
the
we
people
can
to know
get
about
back
that.
into being in touch with your children.
Right.
That, share the technology with them. Because I tell you what, because now I've gotten into this new thing, and it's not brand new to some of y'all. Y'all gonna say I'm old, but I've gotten to this thing. I got rid of my cable. I no longer have cable in my house.
But you don't need cable no more.
I stream.
Right.
I
but
stream.
That's what we're doing now,
When-
streaming.
When I first moved to where I'm at, I bought a PlayStation 4. I'm not a video gamer, but I bought it because it had, my son likes to do it. So when he's at the house, my 20-year-old, when he's at the house, he can mess around with that. Plus, I can play Blu-ray and DVDs on it. Well, my daughter hit me up to it, and she came up and hooked my thing up where I can stream off of it. But the point that I'm making is there was human contact, there was social interaction because of the technology. My daughter had to come out and show me how to work it and how to use it, and we ended up spending a whole half a day together.
But you know, technology also has a downside because UPS drivers may be out of a job because drones going to start delivering packages.
Yeah, drones are going to start delivering packages.
And,
I mean,
and then you can go on the side when we was talking about iRobot.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Kathy Davis, Bowers, and all y'all, thank y'all in Facebook Live for coming into our chat room and coming and showing us some love. Also, you know, the adversities of technology, if the parents would sit down with their kids and teach them the dangers and the benefits, I think technology might be a good thing.
Technology is a wonderful thing. I'm not saying that technology is a bad thing. And when you came to me, Sean, and said, you know, hey, I want you to come up with an idea of a show. This is something that's been on my mind for a long time. Technology is not a bad thing. Technology
but it has
is
a dark
wonderful
side.
thing.
But it has
but
a dark side.
Just like everything else in life, it has a dark side to it too. And I just, you know what? The name of the show is Keep It 100. I just want to kind of like not only educate, but I want to open the eyes of our listeners.
Right, that's what we do here.
And let them know, listen, this is what's going on in our world, because, I mean, a lot of things that's going on in our world through technology, we're being demoralized by being desensitized to human touch.
That's correct. But you know what our technology was back in my day?
Me?
Well,
no, that was my mama's technology.
You might be, because everybody can come back to the day when they talk about technologies, and the caller from Euclid really said this thing, and that's sticking with me right now, when she said that the parents have to get involved and be there with their kids and overseeing their kids. I agree with that. Nobody under the age of 16 should be on social media or have an iPhone or anything unless their parents are there with them, and that should be a must, because your 3-year-old, 5-year-old daughter can be talking to a 35 or 56-year-old man. You don't know who's on the other side of that camera. But my technology, and everybody here probably knows this, and then somebody in LA just told on me, so I'm not going to go into the chat room right there. But our technology was, when those street lights came on, you was on the front porch.
Home.
No, you was on the front porch.
Have your ass home.
Because if
don't let them street lights catch you in the streets, boy.
You better not be down the street. You better be coming in the street. You better be on the front porch, okay?
Look, Sean, tell the truth. Tell the truth, because I'm right there with you on that one. You could tell a time.
Right.
You could tell a time without ever looking at a clock or
Right,
going to ask somebody. Because you knew where that sun was at.
What I
and
learned,
you knew when them street lights was getting ready to come on, and you knew where you needed to be.
Right, but see, this is something the kids is missing, and I want to say this because when I grew up, I was able to get my red flyer and go all over the city, okay? And all into the parks and walk to the lake and go to the fountains and go down to the baseball diamond. Kids don't have that luxury now.
No, they
okay?
don't.
So you have to look at that. Also, me and the boys, we didn't let the girls play, but they came anyway because they was paying. But we all went out. We played baseball, football. We had plastic guns. We did army. We went to the junkyard and got in the cars and act like we was driving and racing.
Man, when we
kids don't have that now.
When we were coming up, we were inventive because we had to be.
Your imagination.
Because we had an imagination. 2, we didn't have much money.
But only that, you had your Hot Wheel. You learn how to get your imagination because you had your Hot Wheel cars, you had your Army Mans.
You set up your fort. One of my favorite things to do. You know what my technology was? And it was kind of a bad thing. I used to go to the firecracker lady. I used to go to, I would get me like 60 cents, and I go down to the firecracker lady. I get me a brick of firecrackers and some smoke bombs. And where we lived at, and some of y'all, I'm going to give it out there. I used to live back on Gaylord. This was back when I lived on 98th and Gaylord. And the house we lived in had a high porch. And some of y'all know what I'm talking about. Back in the day, we had that high porch where you could literally go up under the front porch. And it was all dirt and sand. I would go up under there, man, and I'd dig me some holes. And I'd go in the house, and I'd get my Army man, and I'd set up moats and rivers and lakes. And I'd have my... And I
get
would
your
be down
imagination
there,
together.
I would be down there for hours by myself, especially if I had played sick. Especially, Sean, if I had played sick and my mama had to go to work and she thought I was at home in the bed waiting on my friends to come home from school because I didn't have nobody to play with, I'd go out there, man, and I'd be playing war up under the front porch. I'd have smoke billowing from under the front
But you know,
porch and all kind of stuff, man.
Boston just said, and I'm gonna go back to this. The kids would never know about sledding behind the mail truck. I mean, a paper truck.
Oh,
How
no.
many people did that? Slid behind. You know, we didn't have sleds. We go down there and run behind the paper truck, hold on to the paper truck. You know,
Boston, up here in Cleveland, we had a newspaper called the Cleveland Press, and they had the big old blue trucks. And in the wintertime, man, that was like we would get our little ropes and we would get our best gloves, and we would soon as he come down that street, we'd hook on and ride out.
You know, so
And then
that's what the kids are missing. And I want to go back to this because Michelle Obama, but they're not doing it no more because Michelle Obama started it. But to play 60, that was to tell your kids to drop their devices.
60 minutes a day.
Hey, right, 60 minutes
60
a day and
minutes
go
a
out.
day. To this day, my children are readers because I and my ex-wife, we were both readers. In fact, I am still a reader. I still read a book or two a month. I'm not as avid at it as I was because I used to be reading 3 books. I used to read 3 books in a month. I used to read 2-3 books a week.
And that should be required.
And it was a requirement because that's the way I grew up, and that's something that I
Because
love.
now you can hear the book. I think it's online, Audible. The
And
book
see,
talks to you.
and
whatever,
that's
about-
another
right.
con. That's another con of technology because
Right.
the children will never know the joy because, like you said, just like when I played with those army men, that was a way of escape. That was my a way of getting away. But reading for me was my fantasy world. I could get out of this world. I
Well,
could get away from my problems and get into a book, and I could go anywhere I wanted to.
The
man.
chat room just answered my question. There's 14 people that says that in their mother's house right now, they still have the Britannica Library.
Yeah.
So I got one too.
The
so
British Britannica.
Yeah.
British Britannica.
Kids would never know about reading.
They
that and
don't.
getting
They
all
don't
that.
know about and see and like I was saying. Now they have I forget what they call it. Chat room, help me out with this. But they got the books on Kindle. They got the books.
Kindle
it's,
books,
it's
right?
called Kindle
that's what
books
just somebody
and
said.
stuff like that.
It's
And
called
then
right here in the chat room saying Audible online books.
They've got Audible online
Right.
books. They got Kindle books. And see, for me, that takes away because my children, they know the joys of reading because myself and their mother made them read. And to this day, at age 36, at age 20, at age 36, 22, and 20, my children still pick up a book and read because it's a requirement. It's something that you need to be able to do. And it's a lot, the joys of turning a page and physically looking at words and having to use your brain to read the words, as opposed to sliding through or swiping left or just listening to somebody read a book. It's a big difference, and the children are missing. A lot of our children and youth will miss out on
And
the
people
love
in
of that.
radio land, that is the funny man.
That's the funny man. That's the funny man. I'm telling all kind of big, and to all my people on Facebook, Debo, I see you out there, girl. I love you.
So
What's up?
you know the chat room also is talking about what's going on here is that the kids won't be able to see. If you don't understand, next year, like right here at STMK Radio 100, we had to go digital.
Yeah.
And so next year there will be no phone lines. You won't have a landline in your house unless you have internet. Okay, so if you don't have internet, you won't have no phone, you won't have no
Right.
TV,
You won't have anything.
You might not even have a radio because AM is going by the
Going
wayside,
bye-bye.
and FM is not far
And see,
behind.
that's something else that they're gonna miss out of. That technology has changed and evolved so much. Because I remember a point in time when there was only AM radio.
Right, and they're gonna miss our vinyls. You know, I miss playing my
Man,
albums.
The joy. You know what? I don't miss it. I don't miss it because guess what? I got a turntable, bro.
Oh, well, see, I ain't got a turntable.
I got.
I'm not a
You know what?
DJ.
You know what? I'm not a DJ, but I like it. Some things to me are nostalgic.
And like they said in the chat room, which is happening right now. And if you have an iPhone 7 in the chat room, fingerprint, eye print, facial recognition, and
Yeah,
all that.
all of that stuff.
All that stuff
And
going
see,
on in your
that's what I
phone
was
right now.
that's what I was talking about earlier, and that's a it's not a brand new part. It's been in the works for years, but that's what I was talking about. That's the EI. That's the artificial intelligence. That's that part of the game. The eye recognition, the face recognition, the voice recognition, the fingerprint recognition, certain scan recognitions where you have certain items on your body or certain sense and things. And it's going to keep evolving, and it's going to evolve to the part where there's a couple people that wrote about it. There's a guy that wrote about it was a sci-fi book that he wrote about it, and it was called Toys. I think it was, I can't remember the author's name, but I recently read that book, and what it was about was it was more about a futuristic type setting where artificial intelligence had advanced to the point where the government or society was using it against you because they were trying to take it to a point where they were trying to reverse the roles. Where
Right.
the human beings were serving artificial intelligence because it's getting to that point.
And the chat room also said is that the kids actually that's the upside of technology that you come on, because as I said, there's three sides. You got the upside, you got the
middle,
the middle
and
side,
then you
which
got
is
the dark
and you got the
side.
dark side. But you are correct. If you get your kid a computer or whatever, they can go around the world in an instant and view and see things and learn things that they never could or had a chance to do if they have to read it. But the problem is are they getting our question is, are they getting too dependent? Okay,
They're
so
becoming very
so
dependent upon it.
if your computer breaks,
They're lost.
Do they know to go to the library and grab a book or how to do their research?
No.
Because we talked with some educators, and I wish educators would call in. We got some in the chat room with us, and our educators are concerned because of the reading skills and reading levels of some of the kids are not going to par. And there's a lot of reasons for that, and some of it is because the technology is not there in the inner city schools. Also, some of it is because parents are not joining in with the kids and teaching them the skills to use the technology and to do what they need done. So, I mean, it's a mixture of both. But Doug, somebody says that yes, a lot of people gonna lose jobs because technology. Because if you remember, overseas in France, Germany, they all lost jobs and had to be retrained because of people came in. The technology took over the car making. You know, they can put 40 cars out in a day instead of two cars. Okay,
Right.
you know, and actually that started with Ford himself, because he made an assembly line,
The assembly line,
and
yeah.
put people on special
Yeah.
things. So when you go back into that, and we getting a history lesson here in the chat room, everybody, because they talking about that down.
But see, this is a good thing because we using technology and social media to interact and be human beings again and get back in touch.
And somebody in the chat room brought up that we should, as since we're talking about technology and we're talking about kids with smartphones and everything else, if you got a kid and you got a computer and it has the camera on there, like FaceTime or whatever, put a tape over the over the thing, because people can come into your computer
without you knowing,
into your
Without you knowing.
smartphone, and they can watch what you're doing. They can take
can
pictures
see
of what you're
everything
doing.
you're doing. They can take pictures of what you're doing. They can hear what you're doing. And in fact, there are some hackers that have gotten so good they can take over your technology and control your house.
Right. If you download
if you're not secure enough or download it, because I tell you what, one of the guys did. One of the guys, I know a guy who recently they keep the TV on CNN for practical purposes for the clients that come in, and this guy was like, man, I sure would like to see Sports Center. And another guy said to him, hey, you got a smartphone? He said, yeah. He said, all right, give me your smartphone. He said, do you know what cable system we're on? He said, yeah, we on Dish Network. Dude downloaded a Dish Network remote control
and change
the TV.
Oh, right.
Because the owner of the property keeps the remote locked away so that the techs don't change the channel and watch what
Right.
they want to watch, and he likes to keep it on CNN. That was so funny to me, because I was like, damn, I would have never thought of nothing like that.
And as the chat room said right here from Selma, California, Russell Wilkin, who is a law student. Welcome, Russell.
Russ.
Russ says that technology has turned some of our kids into brainiacs, and that is real too. Because once a kid learns how to do things technical and know how to use technology and move it up, there's no stopping them. That's how they just put that movie out, Doug, about the black females with Nassau that was doing the numbers in her head
Yeah.
and everything.
Yeah.
And basically, that's how she started out.
Yeah.
Back then
Yeah.
in those days, as a human calculator, she actually checked the numbers before computers
Before
was
the
even.
computer,
But wasn't no
well,
computers there.
it wasn't
up
well,
there.
it was a computer. In fact, it was like it was the IBM. It was when IBM first came out, and it was so big, and it was one of them, because I recently watched that movie, and that's one of the things that made me think about this technology thing, because her thing, she wasn't faster than the computer, she was more thorough
Right,
than the computer.
she could
'Cause
bring
the
it down
computer-
to the
yeah,
science.
The computer just brought it down to this and brought it down to this
Right, it
and
didn't
brought
go
it down to
go
this,
to
and
the
she,
exact-
so to speak, read in between the lines.
Right, she brought it to a point.
And the other girl, what she did was, because the IBM techs that brought the IBM computers in, they didn't even know how, they couldn't get the computers up and running because they were looking at the big picture. And the other girl, she used to sneak into, because she was a person of color and she wasn't allowed to be in the room. She used to sneak in the room in the IBM, because the IBM room was as big as a house.
Right.
I mean, when it first came out, and she used to sneak in the room on her break, and she would mess around with it because she was interested in the numbers and the technology, and she was the one that got it working. And they wanted to hire her as a supervisor, and she wouldn't allow them to hire her as a supervisor because she didn't want to be the only one. She made her whole crew go. But that was very interesting, and as you know, a lot of people would say that one of the faults is with technology is that it's going to take over and cause a lot of people to lose a lot of jobs. In one sense, true. But in another sense, it's going to create new jobs, because this new generation that's becoming behind us, somebody, until it gets to a certain point, somebody's got to be able to run it. Somebody's got to be able to fix what it cannot. Somebody's got to be able to conclude what it cannot. So, I mean, jobs, as far as that goes, jobs will always be available to
Well,
human
you always
beings.
going to need, right? You always going to need that human touch.
You're always going to need that human touch.
As John in Austin, Texas. Thank you, Austin, Texas, for coming
Texas,
with
what's
us.
up?
Because I love being on social media around the world and things.
It's a beautiful thing.
We're being broadcast live on internet radio in 17 cities. Welcome to Stop the Madness, Keep It 100. We're talking about technology and adverse effects that it have on our kids. And as we was going through there, our chat room has just picked up and took over. Cleveland, Ohio, Cassandra Sharp. Welcome, Cassandra. It's good to see you. I'm glad you're showing me some love. Stay with us. We broadcast. We in the sky. If you want to hear us, you can see us on SoundCloud, Mixcloud.
Somebody on Facebook in the chat room just commented on what we were talking about, and they said definitely, without a doubt, balance is key.
Right. Well, you need a balance. Right. You got to have a balance with everything. As I tell everybody, when I was talking and with the educators, and we was in the school, and we knew we was going to do this show, and some of them in the chat room, and they was talking with us. The parents have to be involved in everything their kids do. They have to be involved in school. They have to be involved in after-school activities. They also have to be involved making sure that their kids get out there and get that human touch and learn their social skills, because if you don't teach them, the streets will teach them, and if the streets teach them, then you have a big problem right there.
Absolutely, without a doubt.
So, Doug, the chat room also want to talk about, they brought this one in there, is what's going to happen when we allow machines to do things that humans should be doing? Are we losing something there?
That's you know what? I'm gonna break that down for you. That's called plain and simple ass laziness.
Okay.
That's called, because I'm gonna tell you, folks. I literally live in the sticks. I live in the sticks.
Mayberry.
And this man, he'll tell you, I live in the sticks.
There's one
And
light in the middle of the town,
and
and
even
it blinks
before-
yellow all night long.
I tell you what, he ain't kidding. He ain't kidding. Our traffic light, we got a traffic light that goes through the middle of town.
One.
And
And Barney sits right there. One.
And you can tell time by it, because at 9:30 it is no longer a traffic light. It flashes yellow, and it flashes yellow from 9:30 p.m. until 9 a.m. And it's just as simple as that. But the point that I'm making is, even before I moved to where I am now.
Don't you miss gunshots and sirens?
No, because you know what? We still get gunshots and sirens because every now and then somebody goes down over at the local Piggly Wiggly and the ambulance have to come and
You
get
heard
'em.
that Piggly Wiggly,
But-
so we know he live where he live right
But
now.
listen. I don't miss the gunshots because where I live at, everybody out there got a gun. But the difference is where I'm at, when you hear gunshots ring out, you're not hitting the floor and you're not running for cover because you're like, oh, that's the neighbor over on the other side. He's out at
Hunting.
his shooting range and he practicing.
Well-
Or that's somebody out hunting. And
Right.
the point that I'm making, before I even moved out there, and I did this on Facebook, I made a video and put it on Facebook. You can go back in the archive and check it out. I still chop wood before I moved to the country. And I do things like that because my mom, her people were from Savannah. And some of y'all know my history. I'm part Native American and part French Canadian. And my mom grew up at one point in time as a little girl on a farm. She was not far from slavery, and she grew up on a farm. And you know that song that Bill Withers sing. Every morning before I went to school, had to feed the chickens and chop wood too. My mama told me she had to do that, and I try to stay in touch with
Patches.
that part. Patches, right?
Patches,
And
yeah.
I try to stay in touch with that part of life, the part that my ancestors came from and my forefathers came from. And I still, to this day, whenever I get an opportunity, and I don't do it out of necessity yet, but I'm preparing myself for when we go off the grid, when things happen and we have to, I'll all be ready.
Well,
But
you know-
I still chop wood. I
The
still
chat
get
room
out.
just said that if the grid go down or we have to start, a lot of people will starve, and a lot of people starve because
Laziness.
Remember the old saying, "Give a man a fish he eat for a day."
Teach a man to fish, he eat for a lifetime.
Right, and that's the problem right here, that our kids are not learning to hunt, camp. You know, I had to go to the Cub Scouts. I had to go to the Boy Scouts.
Cub
Okay,
Scouts.
there are some skills. There's things missing with technology, and that's where I'm at. Where we're missing the personalized skills the kids supposed to have. Going out camping, learning how to ride a horse, learning how to do canoeing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Learning how to start a fire with a rock.
And see, that's where I live. In chat room, I'm
know?
gonna try to beat you to the gun on this because technology can also help you with survival. Because out there where I live at, you know, we got a lot of farmers out there, and they play a part in technology. Now, don't get it twisted, because these guys still get up 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning and they're out in the field.
Well,
and-
that's what got out your food there too. You
Yeah.
understand? Because now he doesn't need all those people, especially with the immigration things going on. You don't see any Mexicans nowhere around.
Where I live at.
landscaping and all that.
Where I live
So
at.
you know, and the food. They need the machines to go out there and clear the field.
Well, see, that's the whole thing, but they're not using them for that. The farmers where I live, they're not using the tech. They're not like industrial farmers.
Right.
They're still farmers. I mean, these guys still get up 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. You can ride past 10 of the 20 farms out there where I'm at, and you'll see a sign out there, you know, labor for hire, which means you can walk up to these farms and you can tell these people, you know, hey, I need some work for the day, and they'll tell you, okay, well, cool, you know, this is how much I pay, this is the hours that
Right,
I work, and this is
right,
what I
right.
got to do. But these guys still get out. They still meal the chickens. They still feed the horses. They still get up at the ass crack of dawn and go out and do the things that they got to do. But they now have technology to help them with things like
Right.
weather and watering and stuff like that. But in the long run, one of the worst things about technology is it's taking us away from human contact. And people, we got to get back to that. We got to remember, no matter how far advanced technically technological we become, we have to stay in touch with one another. You have to stay in touch with your children.
And with that, everybody, I'll thank y'all all for coming and being with us tonight. But we're going to be, after our broadcast, we're going to be broadcasting live downtown for the Cavs watch party. We're going to go do some of that. Come on down, enjoy yourself. I think they still got tickets down there, plus they're going to be on the mall there. Next week, we want you to come back and tune in with us because we're going to be in the clouds all week because we're trying something new. So you get to catch our show at 6 o'clock in the clouds on Ustream TV, or you can go to SoundCloud or Ustream or Mixcloud. Next Thursday, we're going to talk about what we talked about earlier with what we're going through today and why everything is the way it is today. The Bacon Rebellion, what's actually started. We're going to get real deep with that, so I want y'all to get your books open. What started the race war, what started off as free labor, what started with in America right now of indentured servants coming over and actually starting a rebellion. And that's when Trump and them say they want to go back to the great days. That's what they're talking about. And we're going to have a Trumpster come on, and he's going to try to tell us about that, and we're going to talk to a historian too.
Plus, I'll be clowning all you basketball fans in the chat room after my Cavs bust the white meat off of Boston and start.
Oh yeah, we got Boston now.
And start digging.
James, welcome with us. I wish you was with us earlier to
Jazz.
call in, James. I wish you was with us earlier on because we did some stuff with Trump, but you'll be able to catch it on demand in the sky. Just come on up there and grab us. Everybody, we'd like to thank you for being with us. And we like to thank you for coming around. And Doug.
Fan base is big, I can't lose. Sugar bow down, I'm the next to rule, but I'ma stay on the cool, remain on the under, cause like Andre 3000, your boy's ice cold. Ain't no limit to the gimmicks and ways to make money. No limit to the just to act funny when you get that cake, cause you spit that way. They may love you tomorrow when they hate you today, but yo, that's the way the story goes. So I was told, following the ramble down the yellow brick road, but please believe at the end ain't no pie to go. Just some platinum beats from the Cleveland streets.
Well, Doug Million, what you going to say to our good fans? Facebook Live, YouTube, Mixcloud, SoundCloud. Thank you for coming with us. And Doug?
Facebook Live, Mixcloud, SoundCloud, Twitter. All my peoples out there that tuned in tonight in the chat room, Chicago. Go Cavs. Live, love, laugh, baby.
And you know, I'm your host, Sean L. And Cavaliers, we're going to close it out tonight, and we're going to Golden State, and we're going to bring a championship back to the land. We're going to win the Eastern Championship tonight, and then we're going to get the whole thing and bring it back home, and we're going to have another million party right downtown.
That's right.
I'm your host, Sean L., and as always, peace, love, and happiness. And thank you all for coming in and joining us. Peace.
You've been listening to Stop the Madness, Keep It 100 on STMK Radio.